Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha Nila Madha, Radha Nila Madha, Jaya Radha Nila Madha, Radha Nila Madha, Radhe. Jaya Radha Giridhari, Radha Giridhari, Radhe. Chaitanya Chanya Nitai Gaura Chanya Gaura Hari. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Vishnupada Paramhans Prabhujakacharya Srutasa Shrimad Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhans Prabhujakacharya Srutasa Shrimad Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrind Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्णा गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की गंगा माई यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की नवदीप मायापुर धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की द्वारका मथुरा धाम की व्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की हरे कृष्णा धाम इस्कॉन ऑफ ह्यूस्टन की सामवेद भक्त वृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. And all glories, all glories, all glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. जय श्री श्री राधा नील माधव की जय. राधा गिरिधारी गिरि गोवर्धन की जय. निताय चैतन्य चंद्र निताय गौर चंद्र की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय. Hare Krishna, welcome everybody to the Sunday feast. Today is a short class At 6:30, we'll all go to Gauranga Hall for the kids' Govardhan Puja. So we'll just do it until 6:30 and stop. Today we'll discuss a little bit about what happened after Mahabharata war and prayers of Queen Kunti. So everyone knows about Kurukshetra war, right? Nobody knew here. Anybody doesn't know about what Kurukshetra war is? Everyone knows. Okay. So it's a war that involved two parties from the same family. It's 640 million people assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. And there are two parties. One party is devotees of Krishna, and the other party, they are envious of the devotees of Krishna. So one party consists of 5 brothers and their army. The 5 brothers are Pandavas and their mother is Kunti. So in this battlefield, after 18 days of fighting, everybody practically left their body. There was only handful of people who survived. 5 Pandavas and maybe 6 other people survived the battle of Kurukshetra. So mostly everybody who died, they were relatives of Pandavas. So after they all died, it was only Pandavas who were left to perform all the ceremonies for the departed souls. So they all went in procession to Ganga along with their mother and also Krishna. And then after offering oblations in Ganga, the eldest of Pandavas, Yudhishthira, he became really sad. He was just blaming himself that because of me, this war happened. Although it was not because of you, because of him it happened. It was because the dharma was violated. Kauravas, the other party, although they were cousins of Pandavas, they have inflicted so much suffering on Pandavas. They tried to kill them, they tried to disrobe their wife, they tried to set fire on their house. So many things they have done. They legally taken everything that belongs to them. And when Krishna approached the other party for justice, to give them at least half of the kingdom, although the whole thing belongs to them, at least half of the kingdom he asked them for Pandavas. But Kauravas refused that. And then they asked, okay, because we have this nature to rule, that is what we can do the best. At least give us 5 villages. Then Duryodhana said, no, I won't give even as much land as you can stick a pin into. So when all reasonable diplomacy fails, then war will be inevitable. So Krishna wanted to re-establish dharma. He wanted Yudhishthira to be the king of the entire world. So he said, you have to fight. Although Arjuna refused to fight, he encouraged them to fight and win in this battle. He helped them win. So all the sages and Krishna, they convince Yudhishthira that this is what was supposed to happen. This is what Krishna desired. And everybody gets their reactions eventually. Like if somebody performed something bad to someone else, they will get their reaction, and this is what happened. You are not the reason for this. Krishna wanted it and it happened. So don't be overwhelmed by grief and take up this position to rule the whole world. This is what Krishna wants you to do. And they pacified that this actually belongs to you, this kingdom. This is the nature of devotees. It's very rare to see. Nowadays, it's very rare to see a compassionate person. Although the kingdom belonged to him, he still was feeling morose for being the cause of death for so many people. So it's the gentle nature of a devotee. And then he convinces Krishna along with sages, he convinces Yudhishthira to take up the kingdom. Then he also enables Yudhishthira to do 3 Ashwamedha sacrifices. Indra does like 100 of those, but doing Ashwamedha sacrifice kind of relieves one from any results of sinful activities one may incur because of any mistakes. So then he performs, because devotees, although it may not make sense at that time, they still yield to Krishna's desire, which is in their favor. Sometimes things may not make sense to us, but if we follow Krishna's direction, ultimately there will be auspiciousness. So Yudhishthira listens to him, and after all these, Krishna prepares to leave. Krishna wanted to go back home to Dwaraka. And then when he was just about to leave, Uttara, who's the wife of, who's she the wife of? Abhimanyu. So she comes running to Krishna. And she says, Krishna, Krishna, O Lord of Lords, O Lord of the universe, you are the greatest of mystics. Please protect me, protect me. This fiery arrow is coming towards me. If you think, if you desire, so let it burn me, but not the embryo within my womb. She was pregnant. And all of Pandava's sons were killed by Ashwatthama, who's the son of Dronacharya. And Arjuna's son Abhimanyu was killed unfairly in the battle. Abhimanyu's wife Uttara, she was pregnant at that time. That seed was the only thing left for Pandavas, and Ashwatthama wanted to even finish that. So now this Brahmastra is coming towards Uttara. So Uttara is praying to Krishna, if this Brahmastra should kill somebody, let it be me, not my child. That is the nature of the mother. Even at the cost of her own life, she is willing to save her child. So Krishna expands himself and enters the womb of Uttara, and he protects the child, and he protects Uttara as well. So after this, again he is prepared to leave. At that time, Kunti, who's the mother of Pandavas, she is also the aunt of Krishna. She is the sister of his father. So she comes and she is overwhelmed with emotion. She offers these beautiful prayers which are very dear to Srila Prabhupada. He sang many times these prayers, and he also wrote a separate book called Prayers of Queen Kunti. So she says, I offer my obeisances unto you because you are the original personality of Godhead. So this confusion many of us have many times. Who's the original Lord? Is it Vishnu or Krishna or Lord Ram or Lord Shiva? But Bhagavatam confirms it again and again that he is the original personality of Godhead, Krishna. And he is not affected by the material qualities. What are the material modes or qualities? Anyone knows? Yes. So he is beyond those. All of us are under the influence of these qualities. Sometimes we are very passionate, sometimes we are sleepy and not willing to do anything. We are in the mode of ignorance. Sometimes we are in the mode of goodness. Mode of goodness is very rare, but it still exists. At least a little bit in each of us it exists. So Krishna is not like that. He's beyond these modes. Whatever activity he does, it's not under these modes like us. He's beyond these. And he exists within everything and also outside of everything, which is very difficult to understand. If we are inside this temple, we are not outside the temple. But if Krishna is inside, he can also exist outside. He can be inside and he can also be outside. So can we all see Krishna then? He's everywhere. He's inside, he's outside, he's everywhere. Can we see Krishna? We should be able to see if he's everywhere, right? Why are we not being able to see? Why can't we see? Someone may say, you are saying he's everywhere, but I'm not seeing him everywhere. In the school, if kids say this, other kids or teachers, they may say, I'm not seeing him everywhere, you're just being sentimental. What should we answer? What should we say? Why are we not being able to see? Anybody? Yes, Prabhu. So, because we are covered by this Maya, it's like a curtain. When the curtain is closed, we won't be able to see Krishna. We have this curtain in our consciousness, which covers us. That's why we cannot see. Although Krishna is everywhere, we cannot see. When we purify ourselves, then the curtain is lifted. Then we can see Krishna everywhere. So he's just like an actor in a play. Sometimes we may not recognize who's this actor who's playing this role. Like that, even when Krishna was on this planet, many people could not recognize who Krishna was. They could not see that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Likewise, many of us, most of us, we are covered by this illusory potency of Krishna. But when we anoint our eyes with loving devotional service, we will be able to see Krishna as he is. So this devotional service is very, very potent. When we perform it in the proper mood, proper attitude, then we can see Krishna. And then after this, Queen Kunti talks about why Krishna comes to this earth, why Krishna descends. She rationalizes, she says that Krishna himself comes to teach us this transcendental devotional service, to teach the advanced transcendentalists. Normal people, they need to really get purified to come to that stage. All of us, we are working towards engaging in pure devotional service. As we continue to do in our own contaminated, conditioned consciousness, we eventually get purified and we'll be able to render that pure devotional service. That can only be understood by people who can distinguish matter from spirit, who can understand what is spirit, what is matter, what is important, what is temporary, what is permanent. All these things, if it's clear in our living, in theory it may be clear for many people, but the way we live should represent that idea, that theoretical idea that we get from the books. So that's when we can really engage in devotional service. Then she talks about how Krishna saves his devotees from many, many difficulties. So Devaki, who's the mother of Krishna, she was put into prison by her own brother. Although she's his own sister, he puts her in the prison just because Krishna will be born from her womb and he will kill him. He heard that from the Akashavani, and then he puts Devaki in the prison, and she suffered for many, many years. And Krishna goes after some time from Vrindavan to Mathura, and he kills Kamsa and he delivers Devaki. Similarly, Kunti and her sons, they suffered a lot. They suffered a great deal. So one time, Kauravas, the cousins of Pandavas, they mix poison in the food of Bhima. Bhima is one of the Pandavas, as you all know. So then Bhima eats that food and he faints, and then they just put his body into Ganga. And then Kunti didn't know where her son was. She sent the other sons to find out, and they could not find him anywhere. And then Bhima actually goes into the Nagaloka like that. There are pathways from Ganga, supposedly, to go to lower planets. It's a lower planet. There, he rests there for a long time, and then the residents of that planet, they give a drink which actually increases the strength, and then he drinks that and then digests it and then comes back with more energy. So, but until then, Kunti was suffering. She thought her son died. And then once they were sent to this house which was made of shellac, which is easily flammable. If you put a little fire, then the whole thing will burn. So they were staying there in that house, and then Vidura, actually, before they go, he tells them that there is a danger, so you have to build some underground tunnel. So they build that, and then once the tunnel is built, even though the house was burnt, they could escape from the tunnel. So then again, there were cannibals. After they escaped, they had to face those, and then after that, Draupadi was disrobed in the entire assembly. She was, Kauravas attempted to disrobe her. But in all these situations, Krishna came to help them. Krishna helped them. And Pandavas, they never even for once blamed Krishna that why did you make this happen in our life. They always prayed to Krishna, and then Krishna was there to protect them. Although they had to suffer a great deal in the forest, they never complained. And Kunti also says, you saved us from all these things. Now you saved us from the weapon of Ashwatthama. Just before he left, just like we discussed in the beginning, he saved again. He saved them again. But the attitude of devotees, Krishna is always there to protect, but the attitude of devotees in difficulties is never to blame Krishna, first thing. And then Kunti is very advanced. Her thinking is, let those calamities come again and again in my life. Because when there are calamities, I pray to you fervently. I remember you always when there is difficulty. I think of you with more intensity. So what is the result of thinking of Krishna with more intensity? There is no birth and death after that. So she's advanced enough to not identify with the difficulties that come for the material body. She's looking at the ultimate benefit that she's getting by those. So she's not afraid to have calamities. She's okay. She's actually asking for more so that she can continuously be thinking of Krishna. So this is the attitude of devotees. They are not identifying with the matter. So this is what exactly it means, that they know what is the difference between matter and spirit. So she knows the difference, and she is not giving much importance to material tribulations. So this is her attitude. And she also says one more very important thing. She says that you are the property of somebody who has nothing. And it's not very easy to completely have a sincere feeling when somebody approaches you. If they are trying for respectable parentage, great opulence, high education, bodily beauty, all these things are distractions for the sincere feeling. When someone has all these other goals, then it's not very easy to get that sincere feeling. She's saying that one who has none of these ambitions, those are the ones who will approach you with sincere feeling. And then she says, again she mentions that you have nothing to do with these actions and reactions of modes of material nature. You are self-satisfied, you are the most gentle, and you are the master of monis, you are eternal time, supreme controller, you don't have beginning or end, you are all-pervasive, and you are equal to everybody in distributing your mercy. You are not partial. Then she discusses a little bit about his birth. There may be many people who think in many ways about Krishna. Some people think, who don't have proper idea of who the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, they think, oh, Krishna came under the influence of Maya and he took birth. But repeatedly it's mentioned that he never comes under modes of material nature or Maya. He's always beyond that. Some people may say, because Devaki and Vasudeva prayed for you, you appeared. And some people may also say that the sages, they wanted to propagate devotional service and they prayed for your appearance so that you perform all these activities and everyone will have some material to think about and to hear about, to meditate on. So many reasons are there. That's why in Bhagavad Gita it's mentioned, Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. So it's very transcendental. It's not easy to understand the birth and activities of Krishna. But one who can understand, they never have to come back to this material world. They don't have to take birth again. So she says that whoever continuously hears and chants and repeats your transcendental activities, or if you can't do that, you can at least take pleasure in others doing so. That is also okay. then we will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. That is the qualification, to be able to see Krishna's lotus feet. And then she expresses her gratitude because you are there in the land of Hastinapura. Everything is prosperous. Your footprints are there. That's why everybody is happy. Everything is flourishing. Now, after we fought this battle, there are so many people who are at enmity with us. So you protected us all this while. This is the toughest time for us. Now you are leaving. How can we do it? Everything we accomplished so far is just because of you. We don't have any qualification to be here right now. For Yudhishthira to be the emperor of the world, it's only because of you. That's the nature of devotees. They completely know that everything is given to them by the Lord. That is the case for all of us. But they are more realized in that aspect than us. And then she prays that she thought that she would pray for him to stay back. She asks him to stay back. And then she realizes that even in Dwaraka, it's all her relatives. And they haven't been with Krishna for so long. So she's asking Krishna to be with Pandavas, and then Yadus will suffer because of that. In this course of thought process, she feels that I am too attached for my bodily relationships. I'm too attached to my sons, and I'm feeling bad about my mother's family there back in Dwaraka. So then she again prays that please remove all of these attachments that I have. Let my mind constantly flow towards you alone, just like Ganga flows towards the ocean. Let my mind constantly flow towards you. I don't want any other benediction. And then she stops her prayers. She requests for him to stay, but then later she realizes and she prays that let me cut off all these attachments. Then Yudhishthira also requests Krishna to stay back. So Krishna again stays for a few more days or weeks. So I'll stop here. We all have to go to Gauranga Hall after this for Kids Govardhan Puja. Thank you all for your attention. Maybe we have time for like one question or something or comment. Yes, Prabhu.
He appears out of his own sweet emotion. Radhika also mentions that when he visits Dwarka, sees 16,000 palaces and queens. Everywhere Krishna was doing different activities. So those were not the expansive, but those were the direct activities. Krishna, original Krishna, is one of them. So that is, even Narada Muni was limited by that. So is that understanding enough for there is something more when we say, this verse says, by understanding the birth of Krishna and his activities, one doesn't have to take birth. So what does it exactly mean?
What you mentioned is the biggest part of it. But there are also many instances where we may not be able to understand why Krishna did what he did. Why did he leave Vrindavan and never came back? Radharani and the gopis, they suffered a great deal. Will anybody do that? I mean, you don't want someone to cry for you for so long. That's one thing. And there are many things like why he did this, why he did that. It's hard to understand Krishna's activities. Depends on a person's purity and Krishna's revelation to oneself. Krishna will only be understood by his mercy on us. When he wants to reveal himself to us, we'll be able to understand. It's very difficult to understand Krishna. So that's why if one can understand, then there is no birth. again in this material world. That's what I understood. I hope it makes sense. Thank you. Thank you all. We'll stop here now. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. We would like to thank Her Grace Sundari Radhika Mataji for the wonderful class. Let's give her another round of applause, please. We have one sponsor for today's Sunday feast, Shirish and Revant Punla. We will be requesting them to perform the arati at 7 p.m. when we perform the arati. So today we have a special celebration by the Sunday school in the Gauranga Hall. They are celebrating the Govardhan Puja. They built their own Govardhan mountain beautifully. So you will be able to see and also worship the Govardhan and as well as circumambulate Govardhan. So we'll be heading that way. Do we have any kirtaniyas? No. Okay. So we will actually go in a procession and we'll go in a procession for this celebration, and then they will lead us to circumambulate the Govardhan hill there. Also, we have another celebration that's coming up on this Tuesday, which is known as Gopashtami. The day it is described in Srimad, in our scriptures that Srimati Radharani actually goes out as a Gopa boy along with Krishna to herd the cows. So it's a very special day, and that's the day we actually, Srimati Radharani also disguises herself or dresses herself like a Gopa boy. So it's a very special darshan, only happens once a year. So we would welcome all of you to join us to come and take darshan during that day, special darshan that day. And so we'll come back at 7 o'clock for Damodarashtakam prayer and Arati. So for the next 25-30 minutes, we'll be celebrating the festival in the Gauranga Hall for the Govardhan Puja. And just to note that, and the prasadam will be served only after the celebration of the puja, so which is at around 7:15. So no need to go and stand in the line for early on. All right, thank you so much, and Hare Krishna. And we also have sponsor, Damodar Arati sponsors on behalf of Vinodrai Sedani, Raj Sedani, David Rodriguez. So we would like to request the family to come forward to perform the Arati at 7 p.m. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So.
for Damodar Ashtakam, please.
जय राधे जय कृष्णा जय वृंदावन जय कृष्णा जय वृंदावन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जय राधे जय कृष्णा जय वृंदावन जय श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन श्री गोविंद श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन श्री गोविंद श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन श्याम कुंड श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन कालिंदी जमुना जयो जयो महावन कालिंदी कालिंदी जमुना जयो जयो महावन जय राधे जय कृष्णा जय वृंदावन जय जय राधे जय कृष्णा जय वृंदावन जय श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन श्री गोविंद नाथ मदन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन गोविंद जय राधे जय कृष्णा जय वृंदावन जय राधे जय कृष्णा जय वृंदावन जय राधे जय कृष्णा जय वृंदावन जय राधे श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन श्री गोविंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Oh Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर श्री राधे जय जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर श्री राधे जय राधा दामोदर जय राधा दामोदर राधा दामोदर श्री राधे जय श्री राधा दामोदर की नमामीश्वरं सत्यचित् आनन्दरूपं लसत्कुन्दलं गोकुले भ्रजमानम् ईश्वरं सच्चित् आनन्दरूपम् लसत्कुन्दलं गोकुले भ्रजमानम् यशोदाभियोलोकल् अधवमानम् परं हृष्टम् अत्यन्त तो द्रुतगोप्या यशोदा यशोदाभियोलोकल्लधवमानम् परं हृष्टम् अत्यन्त तो द्रुतगोप्या यशोदा